just opens up the picks. I would love Black to really like open up the picks and give options to RR and how they want to go, but not a chance here.
Nope. Tass, Oriole, so we're going to see the Genji pick up, you have to imagine. Very strong on this map.
And Uther plus a pair up, I'm guessing. It used to be just Uther Stitches, very likely over 80%-ish when it was open for MVP Black in part number 1. Even in Eastern Clash sometimes. But with some changes now, and I can't wait till next weekend. We'll have lots of changes. Lots and lots of changes next weekend. Auriel, maybe we'll just not see Auriel at all, or maybe not even Uther, just going down the list here. Okay, Uther with Greymane, solid pick. Also gives Asake more room to play Greymane now. It feels like targeting Sake and Rich at the same time can be a very strong weapon against MVP Black when they're drafting. Yeah. Oftentimes Sake is on Tastar or Falstad. If it's a smaller map, of course, and Falstad is somewhat out of the meta, not really picked too much.
I'm just glad everyone knows the best Garrosh skin, by the way. That's something that's become clear.
And the best Slimming skin, of course.
Yeah, both of them today have been on point. No mistakes. Reset has a smile on his face, but I think that Black can definitely go down the path of using the Greymane pick with a Tyrael. It's an option, not required. They don't want to go heavy dive, obviously, because of the Garrosh. So, Genji, when you pick Genji and your opponent doesn't take Garrosh, you feel pretty good. Now they've taken it away from Black, so Black is not going to have that counter. We get the Lunara ban. I don't think that's real. Yeah, they've been flipping through quite a few heroes here. The Li Ming is definitely a very likely possibility. We talked about it in the last draft because of HGC's hero pool. That's one reason why you do see it removed, and something that okay, that's a weird one. Would have been much more common in the old meta in 2016, but not so much now. Let's see. EDG didn't play Li Ming when it was open last game. She played the Nazebo instead. This is a map that, similarly to Dragonshire, can go late. I don't think she'll make that choice again, even though they have the Garrosh on their side. Not going to be worried about getting picked.
There are still lots of options for Rich and Tist. So solid Muradin used to be the go. If they want to go a little bit more divey, bring in Tyrael with the burst damage, just go in. Because Genji's on the other side, if you cancel that with a stronger dive with the Sanctification, I think that's a possibility. Even with a toss, if Tyrael goes in save with the Sanctification, and you can basically force the entire opponent team back all the way, and meanwhile, maybe you can also get a kill, just like that. So maybe building a divey team comp for Black could work here.
It's a risk, but it could certainly work out. My biggest concern with the dive is the Garrosh counters the dive by tossing. Oh, Tyrande, Anubarak. I thought maybe as soon as I saw Tyrande, I was thinking ETC.
Yeah, me too, for a second.
Because this is what I was wanting to, this is what I wanted Black to do. Not dive in terms of team fighting, but the very quick rotations for picks, a pick-based comp in the early game. I was thinking, before we saw Tyrande, what about a Diablo pick here? It could be quite strong. Maybe Diablo Zeratul. Very good options for MVP Black. No longer on the cards anymore with the Tyrande here. They're going to look to catch and burst down the Genji whenever he comes in. I think how many times we see Lunar Flare connect with Genji is pretty exciting. Just the thought of that we will be watching Sake very likely on the Tyrande trying to get those Lunar Flares. And if he does, I mean, Genji gets shut down. It's over.
Black just having one more burst damage, like, there are a lot. Mages or even Li Ming with the burst CC. It's basically a CC lockup. If they get caught by one target CC from Uther or Anubarak, every single target will be gone from burst damage coming in. So they need to be careful when they have to choose this week. So they will actually take Li Ming away from Black's hands. I like these choices.
If you're looking for picks, you're looking for burst kills. What do you want here for Rich? Is it still possibly the Zeratul? What other hero can he play that's going to be strong for pick potential, not as much a solo laner pick? I think that's what we should be looking at here.
Sometimes they play Tracer with the Pulse Bomb, but oftentimes paired up with Tastar. Tastar is gone, so I think that's unlikely, a lot less likely.
Ragnaros is a good choice here, but not as strong for picks.
Varian?
Yeah, Varian is something we could maybe see.
Not the taunt. The Colossus.
Well, I think we'll probably still see
that
taunt.
Brings a lot of burst damage. And I think he may. Of course, a lot less chance. There are lots of other options, but I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, it's a tough call. Like, no matter which way you look at it, a lot of his heroes are gone. Leoric.
Oh, so they want to be safe. Even with the CC lockup, they want to have more chances of picking up the heroes.
I think Leoric is really cool because he offers wave clear, and he can rotate quickly. He also, before 10, because obviously at 10, the Leoric pick becomes more obvious, but I think before that, his slow makes Lunar Flares a lot easier to hit. And when we see the aggressive Garrosh come through, it just gets burned down by the Leoric. So we're going to see Black's attempt to counter the Garrosh now as we head into Game 3. Could be the last game of the night. We'll see if the Tyrande pick works out for MV Black. They want to go pick-oriented here in the early game on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Let's head into game number 3. So, MVP Black reset on Greymane, Sake on Tyrande, Kyocha on Uther, Rich on Leoric, and Tist on Anub'arak.
And in red, RRR. Odok on Garrosh, MSG on Rehgar, EZZ on Liming, Kong on Genji this time. Let's take a look on the Haka.
Okay.
Kong on Genji.
So Lunar Floor built into already here at level 1. We saw this actually, I want to say it was against Soul Torturers by MVP Black, a similar comp to this one.
Oh, and also Rich played Leoric against L5.
Yeah.
And it was the same map. I'm seeing lots of pattern plays. Rich only playing certain heroes on certain battlegrounds.
Yeah, back in the fall 2016, we saw a lot of Leoric out of European teams on this map, especially Fnatic. In fact, Fnatic versus Black, we saw that Leoric pick on this map back at BlizzCon.
Yeah, Intune comes in super handy, especially into those small choke points. But
this is a bad start.
Sake gets tossed
that Lunar Flare was not even close to anything. I mean, you couldn't even have argued he was trying to hit the minions with it, and then he went so far forward to try to get it that he got picked. So this is the opposite of how this is supposed to be going for Black right now.
This is also the map of MVP Black's Never Forget 022. So
yeah, that's definitely true.
Nightmare may be coming back. Who knows? And Sake gets tossed like that so many times that it can't happen.
I could see the idea of what Black is trying to do here, but I don't know if it's their best options against the Garrosh. The Garrosh deals with this kind of hyper-aggressive rotation play very well. It's not traditional dive. It has a Anub'arak in it, and obviously Reset's going to be somewhat divey when he does go in. But look at this, Anub'arak struggling. And they almost got the pick there. Kong coming in. He's the Genji this time, as you were talking about earlier. For role swap here. And now, as we head into this early game, RRR is in pretty good shape, you have to say. I mean, Black was supposed to have like 2 kills already. And they're the ones who are getting ganked, actually, because they're rotating so hyper-aggressively.
They're supposed to, and RRR is actually countering this pretty well. Black is having 4 or even up to 5-man push, and Leoric, of course, on the other side will be there to push lanes and try to soak for EXP. But the 4-man rotation with burst damage along with the CC. You see it's not perfectly done with the burst damage because of Garrosh on the other side.
Okay, here's the first one that they've actually done well. This is the first really good execution.
But is it going to be perfect? Sake is taking a lot of damage. Kong is looking for the kill. And, okay, little decent positioning coming from Black, and of course, just soaked in so much damage. So Sake was not going down anytime soon.
By the way, just for those who don't know, this is really cool new Anub'arak skin. It's very much Lurker inspired. from StarCraft Remastered, I believe is why it came out at this timing, but it's really cool to see. It looks almost exactly like a lurker with spikes on his head.
Because of all the pressure, RRR is holding a lot of the gems, but they cannot get the turn in. They got a kill, but they got a kill at the beginning and they lost the kill. They gave up a kill, but still, because of the pressure and the rotational rotation, the Haka, of course, countered by Leoric at the bottom, and this 4-man rotation will not that.
Okay, that was a close call there. No cleanse just yet for RR. It's going to make dealing with this pressure a lot easier post 7.
That talent will be coming in handy.
So
there.
useful. Okay, the flare actually goes wide here because we see RR actually kind of trying to turn this fight.
Nice
actually
drag.
not on the retreat. There should be a double here. In fact, Kyocha will go down, and they can't turn the fight anymore. Black can't, even with the heals, because they're just so far back in terms of damage. So if that Lunar Flare connected, which I think the assumption there for Black was that RR was going to be walking backwards towards it, I think it would have been a different situation. Unfortunate missed toss there. But as it is, RR takes the kill lead. They're going to have 7 in just a moment, which means cleanse, which means these potential picks are going to be so much harder to pull off. And it's actually full Wrecking Ball build coming out here from Garrosh. It's not actually the questing talent for the Q at level 1, which is, I think, the first time actually we've seen this build from start to finish here out of a Garrosh player in Korea.
We might have won like this before, but not the exact same build. There was a, of course, you go for, oftentimes you go for the W at 4, and then into the fray at 7. But this is a different one for sure.
Yeah. I like the W for, it gives you like wave clear kind of.
Yep.
If you get the resets off, you get those last hits.
Whoa, it's over the wall, and
Yeah.
which can not. He gets the walk over the wall, but there's no
Oh my god,
follow-up
look at the
damage.
stuns! Rich is gonna die, but that's insignificant compared to the pick they got onto Rhaegar here. No cleanse in this fight anymore. Rich will be able to lifesteal his way, or death timer steal his way? I don't know how you want to call it. He's gonna be able to reduce his death timer so significantly. He'll come back. They get the web weaver turn in with this.
I didn't even blink, and I feel like I missed something in that fight. And they had to turn in. They dropped a lot of the gems. I saw Rhaegar holding in at least 20-something gems. Ooh.
Well, this is going to be. I mean, I assume
Nicely
most
done
of
by
the. I
Black
assume
there.
most of the gems were recovered, but still, Black is now going to take this. This is the most important moment because it pushes them towards 10. And that's how this comp is. I mean, if you run Tyrande and you don't get 10 first, then Tyrande's not as strong, very obviously, in the early game. Or sorry, she's not as strong in the late game as she is in the early game on this map. So, you know, Tyrande's a multifaceted, very utility-based hero. In the early game, she's good at picking. In the late game, she's good at giving vision, doing extra burst damage with her Hunter's Mark. But on this map, those things don't matter as much. Okay. Here we go. Again, the vulnerability comes on to Tekalook. He will be taken out here despite the cloak he took at level 4. It's going to be another pick here for Black. And finally, they're making this comp work. They have level 10. Oduk will sneak the turn in.
They started the camp, right? Yes,
Yeah.
they did right before the turn in.
They knew that getting back over there with the where they were on the map was not really a reasonable expectation. So they decided to take this before the camp, or sorry, before the turn-in went live because they couldn't deny the turn-in. And unfortunately, because of the situation in the game, because of the web weaver dominance that Black had, these are basically defensive web weavers for RRR, and they're not going to help them rush to 10 either.
Lyric's already on top trying to delay. And actually clearing the minions first and then going for the spider later. And RR needs some time. They're actually not soaking EXP too much. They lost the top wave, they lost the bottom wave now. I think they're a little intimidated and pressured from all the Black coming in because they have their heroics because they're 11 already. They have the tools to trap, they have Cocoon, they have Go for the Throat, and they will have chain CCs to get the kills. So RR being super defensive, I think they're being extra defensive here. They could have actually soaked in a little bit more EXP, but of course being safe is alright for now.
Yeah, if they played it risky and ended up losing a keep wall for it, or maybe a keep, I think that's... obviously, you never want that to happen, but it could have happened if they were a little bit more aggressive there. But they needed to deposit the gems. They were carrying so many. They still actually have a gem lead at 59. They could get a double turn in here. So rushing, I think, is not necessary right now, especially when you're on your last life in this best of 3. In fact, they're nearly able to get the turn in here. Rich will aggressively come over and deny. Okay, let's see if they can actually make this pick comp work in the next fights. Post 10. If they go in too deep, the taunt is going to make this even harder. Speaking of taunt, can he get it?
There's an Ancestral a little early, actually. Disintegrate does get the Cocoon out, but already a kill going out there. Gyrosh is dead. The tank ability for RRR is basically lost. Adaptation available for Tehaka, but for how long?
I mean, Oduk didn't even get to use taunt. He was killed immediately there. And even with the Ancestral, the Entomb, very, very strong. That's the crux of how the picks are going to work post 10. And, you know, RR pays the price here. So now these Web Weavers, with the lane pushing that we were talking about just before, RR didn't even really end up doing that much with their Web Weaver push to stop the lane pressure. The bot was going to go directly to the keep wall. The mid is going to go directly to the keep wall. The top one, sure, that one has to go through a fort, but MVP Black doesn't care. They know where the objective lies. And RR's got the good poke here for Li Ming. But otherwise, they just cannot go too far forward trying to defend these. Otherwise, it's going to be bad news with the Entomb already off cooldown. Cocoon also going to be available in just a second here. They need to be very, very conservative on the defense. Just use these ranged attacks coming out from Li Ming. Try to poke with Genji. I know it's horrible. I think that's what they have to hope for here. Look to take the fight under keep. Otherwise, they will just simply lose it before the keep is even under attack.
Seems like Genji's even pressured on top, so joining the fight in the middle. Their talent down, 2 levels down. They have lots of counter heroics available, so it'll be hard, but they need to... They don't have so much poke, that's the thing. Li Ming has poke, but a lot of their tanking ability, and at the same time, they have been pushing the top lane. So much EXP earned from that one Web Weaver push for MVP Black compared to what RRR did right before.
Rich does end up getting the aggro here. He's going to get the Entomb once again onto Gyrosh. They're trying to burst him down before he can get the heals there, before his armor can actually take place.
Yes, and cleanse will not matter if you cannot escape.
Nope. And, I mean, the Ancestral there canceled because he was killed so quickly with the vulnerability coming out from the
Ancestral at home.
I mean, I think this is just kind of a way of saying, well, look, this is probably the end of the line. It's going to be the dead keep here for MVP Black. They don't get any more picks. Gyrosh will respawn, and with the keep and the core available here defensively, I don't think they could try to end the game. Although, Tekaluk might prove me wrong as he's going deep.
Back. He almost got 99% of his health back, but Kong is looking for the kill, but I don't think so.
Rich survives through all this, gets the self-heal there from the grasp. And that is likely to be game here. If Kong goes down, it certainly will be. He's very low. He's just trying to poke here. Saki can't give vulnerability to the core. They don't have a minion wave. I think they just have to get out of here.
Leoric went back. Leoric Hearth back home, so I think they have to now, because without so much tank and RRR, they actually have a low timers on their deaths, so they can come back anytime. So, and they have a lot of room to just tap into Fountain and get their next Web Weavers, and they can even boss.
I think they want to show Rich. Yeah, they want to show Rich before they boss. Look at this. RRR was looking towards the boss, and then when Rich showed bot lane, they moved into the lanes just soaking. They should realistically know that the boss is being taken now that no one else is shown.
After checking camp that no one's there, I think they know.
Well, can they even really contest the boss with no heroics available? I don't think so.
And down.
And because Rich gets now 2 full waves, they get 16. So they have the 16 talent tier advantage plus the boss. So this is a twofold really cool plan for Black, because they show Rich bot, force the reaction from RRR to play a little bit more passively, not go directly boss, and he gets the soak. And again, even if they knew 100% in the beginning, they probably wouldn't have contested. This is probably going to be the last fight of the game. Oh, another Entomb. Does actually get saved by Oduk here, but will Oduk be saved by him? The answer so far is yes, as Rich is everywhere at once.
Rich gets tossed over everywhere. He's doing tons of damage, but meanwhile, the Haka blows up. Adaptation does not go off, and seems like MVP Black will be taking this game with the boss pushing already onto the core. Kong is trying to do what he can from the side, but the damage coming in is insane as he goes down. Already 50% lower, 32, and this core will be gone, and the series going to MVP Black.
MVP Black never had to deal with fighting on even terms, fighting with an even score in levels in that last game with the Tyrande composition, because They made the picks work pre-10. Sure, there were some struggles in the early game where they were a little bit miscoordinated and we saw some Garrosh kills there.